Training considerations for retroversion is you let the person be toe out. Whether they're running, split squats, deadlifts, and squats, etc., you let them go. And one way to kind of find out where they should be. Now, even if you didn't know they were retroverted, you can kind of hide for this in your double leg movements, like your deadlifts and squats. You won't see it as much, but you can see it in split squats. You won't see it as much in running, but of course you can, is you do something called like the rock and lock technique. The rock and lock technique is you would decide the width of where you wanted your feet in your deadlift or your squat. And then you rock backwards. So if I were to stand up and show you, if I wanted to deadlift from here, I'm going to rock backwards. And you see where I kind of had to balance and bring myself forwards. Now, I'm wearing shoes, so maybe they're clunky, so they may not be able to show you as much. But for me, as someone who's retroverted, I'm natural. Like right now, I'm in a very bad disadvantage because my neutral would probably be very much out here. And as long as you believe me, I did not do that intentionally. I did it because I squeezed my glutes. I took my hip to wherever it would land, and that's where it would go. Because you'll see, if you do this with a lot of people, they're going to land differently. You let them put their feet where they are. Any suggestion that somebody should always be keeping their toes straight and you don't know that they have retroversion, then you're really going to be doing them a significant disservice. So now if somebody was very much anteverted, they might land like that. They might feel much better in that position. So with anteversion, because it's so easy for them to internally rotate, that's where you just have to be more attentive to whatever you think is great biomechanics. I don't think this is great biomechanics. So you might need to slow down their training to develop the strength and motor control so that they're centrated here, which is not impossible for either of those positions in a single leg technique. But I think the most important is when you're retroverted, let them put their feet wherever they want. And you may find that there'll be challenges in what might appear to be hip extension, where if you externally rotate, they have great hip extension, but if they're kept neutral, they may not have much more than 5 or 6 degrees. Well, that's because they're always training out here. That might just be the function of how they feel with their hip. With anteversion, you might need, especially for a young person or someone who's new to training, a band around their knee to give that reaction so you can stay out there. Maybe use a band more often or bring them into positions where they feel where they're supposed to be and not go inward.